With more on the Paris Air Show and that really battle between Boeing and Airbus. Boeing executive Jim Albaugh sounded a positive note today about demand from defense-related accounts.
Globally, though, we haven't seen any of the programs that we're competing for being canceled or pushed to the right. So the international competitions have held pretty firm so far.
Now, we are joined by two guests who have more than 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Both have been named top aerospace analysts by institutional investors. They're Cai von Rumohr, analyst over at Cowen Co, joining us from Boston, and Wolfgang Demisch, partner and owner of aerospace financial consultancy Demisch Associates, joining us in studio. Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. I want to start with, you guys have been watching the defense industry, the aerospace industry for decades. Cai, let me start with you. You've seen ups and downs. How bad is it right now?
On the defense side?
On both.
On the commercial side, we're kind of in this good news, bad news. They have huge backlogs, but the traffic decline is as bad as we've seen, and it looks likely to last. So, normally cycles are 4 years top to bottom.
Right.
We think that's what we're looking at this time.
When it comes to defense, tell me about defense, though.
Well, I think defense is clearly going into a period where weapon spending is going to be flattish to down some. We don't see it as quite as bad as some people do, because if you're adding troops, if you're still involved as the U.S. is in Afghanistan, if the equipment is aging, we think it's going to be very difficult at the end of the day to get major cuts out of defense.
Wolfgang, you agree that's going to be tough to cut back on defense in this environment?
I think difficult. The technology has moved on. There's an entire new generation of unmanned computerized systems being launched by everybody, and which is really democratizing defense. In other words, countries like China, which is the second largest defense spender these days apparently, are rapidly taking advantage of that. So my guess is that military spending will continue to hang in there quite well. And that's wonderful news, of course, for Boeing, because they have profitable defense businesses, whereas Airbus currently is suffering because their major defense program is way behind schedule and over budget.
All right, so in that Boeing-Airbus battle, you see Boeing winning it, Wolfgang, when it comes to the defense side?
On the defense side, no question. I mean, it's been their mainstay and their bread and butter. And worldwide, defense spending is about $1.5 trillion.
Right.
The U.S. is $650 billion of that, so we're way ahead of number two. But is that sensible? I don't know.
Right.
But as Cai says, as long as you're fighting a war, it's hard to cut back.
When we have these air shows, we always look for some interesting new products, new announcements. Cai, let me ask you, in terms of the defense side, what are the new hot, if you can say, defense items or aircraft that we should maybe look out for?
Well, I think the big issue is not a product so much as cybersecurity is the major issue, and I think the real buzz within the defense community, and it's really a part of IT services, IT systems, and so it's a little bit amorphous, but that's probably one of the major hot buttons we see in defense.
And who is best positioned in that area, Cai?
The big guys all are well positioned. One services company, SAI, is well positioned. A company called Mantech is well positioned. So there are a number of players. It's hard to find a pure play, but that's clearly an important trend.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like the defense industry playing. Wolfgang, let me bring you into this. So in terms of kind of an interesting product on the defense side of things, since everybody expects maybe that's not where we'll see the cutbacks, what kind of product or services are you kind of watching out for?
Well, I think what Cai said about cyber is certainly very true. Mm-hmm. The larger thing is that the defense industry has become much more outsource intensive, and most of the operations of defense these days would stop if there wasn't for contractor support up and down the food chain, from food in the galleys to maintaining the weapons. And as Cai says, the big guys are going to do well, but people like CSC, people like Mantech, the service companies, will continue to flourish in the U.S. context.
Bottom line, very changing landscape. No doubt about that. Just quickly.
Absolutely. And automation coming forward.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Wolfgang Demisch, thank you so much. And Cai von Rumohr, thank you as well. We appreciate it.